Hi everyone, I trust that your day is going very well. Alright, today I just thought to share something very briefly. I'd like to title The Mystery of Marriage. Now, if you look at Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 21 to 32 or 33 or thereabout, you will notice something very intriguing. Paul was admonishing husbands and wives. He was telling the wives to submit to their own husbands and telling the husbands to love their own wives even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. And then he said a lot of things about how they should reverence one another, submit one to another, and how they should behave as a couple. Then in verse 32, he said what I found very intriguing. He said, "This is a great mystery," because I'm talking to you actually about the church and Christ. In other words, everything you're supposed to be doing as a man and a woman in marriage, you're supposed to exemplify the life of Christ. You're not supposed to live like you just want to live. You should live exactly like Christ lived. You should exemplify the same life that Christ exemplified when he was on earth. In other words, Christ was married to the church, and his marriage to the church and how he did it is how you should do your marriage. Marriage must be done the same way Christ did his. He died for his. Now, something interesting here is that the church does not argue with Christ because the church loves the way Christ loves. That's why you see submission to Christ is easy for the church, because the church sees that this love from Christ is extreme, this love from Christ is sacrificial, this love from Christ is unconditional. So it's easy to submit to Christ. So the problem in most homes, why they find difficult, enjoying respect, mutual respect, and submission, as the case may be, is that the husband is not exemplifying the life of Christ properly, and the wife does not know that you're supposed to be like the church, And very interestingly, because sometimes I look at it critically, because Jesus lives in us, whether you are male or female, there's a Christ in you. So from time to time, you are to be a Christ to your spouse, to the wife. There's a trace of Christ in you, so you have to live like Christ and exemplify Christ to your husband, as the case may be, from time to time. The same way your husband, you expect your husband to be Christ to you, you have to do the same thing to him. It's a mystery. So what does Christ do? Christ sacrificed. That's what you should be doing, both of you in your marriage. What does the Christ do that I find very interesting as I try to wrap up this now is Christ lost his will. You remember at the Garden of Gethsemane, he was like, "I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. This marriage is becoming too difficult for me to get through with. They don't even love me the way I love them. They don't even care about me, whether I live or I'm dead. If they want me dead, and you still want me to go ahead." And look at Jesus saying, "Not my will, but your will be done." If you must do marriage like Christ did, or Christ did to the church, you must learn to lose your will. You must submit your will to God's will, God's will, God's will, using the Bible as your manual. So there are times where you don't feel good love. They're not loving you back, keep loving. There's no hate in Christ, so there cannot be any hate in you. So no matter what you feel, if you must do marriage correctly, the mystery is that you must do it like Christ does to the church. I hope someone understands and gets this message today. Thank you, and God bless you.